Ladies and gentlemen, history is repeating itself just before our eyes in the Republic of Kenya. For those who follow the politics of this country very closely, Uhuru Kenyatta really frustrated William Ruto's attempt to travel outside the country. And I remember at some point, William Ruto had attended some function in UK, and he had just finished addressing the Chatham House. Then the next day, I think William Ruto was supposed to meet Kenyans living in the UK, and he was also supposed to meet some Church of England there. Then Uhuru Kenyatta decided to create a crisis, and William Ruto was forced to come back into the country. I can clearly tell you that that history is repeating itself. William Ruto is clearly frustrating Rigathi Gachagua's attempt to travel outside the country. I'm saying this because yesterday, William Ruto dispatched none other than Musalia Mudavadi to Zimbabwe to represent him during the swearing-in ceremony of President Amos Mnangagwa. For me, that move by William Ruto to snub, in my view, Rigathi Gachagua is significant, politically speaking, because the same tactics is what was used by Uhuru Kenyatta against William Samoei Arap Ruto. And for me, that event in Zimbabwe is actually significant, politically speaking, for two main reasons. Number one, the election in Zimbabwe has been disputed by the opposition, just like the Kenyan election was disputed. Number two, the opposition leader down there is a close associate of Raila Odinga. And why would William Ruto decide to send Musalia Mudavadi and not Rigathi Gachagua? If you go to our constitution today, the function of the deputy president is well defined. That he is the principal assistant to the president, which means in case the president cannot perform certain function, automatically those roles should be rolled over to Rigathi Gachagua. So in this video, I want to reveal to you guys the objectives why Ruto decided to send Musalia Mudavadi to Zimbabwe and not Rigathi Gachagua. Because let's face it, the first time we saw Rigathi Gachagua leaving this country for serious events was when he went to Rwanda. I think there was some youth summit there. He went there, and that was not a high-profile event. That was just some small events here and there. He went there just on his capacity as the deputy president. He was never invited. William Ruto was never invited to that event. And then again, after that, there were these issues. It became a serious issue that Ruto is sending Mudavadi, to an extent that at some point, Rigathi Gachagua explained to the country that for him, he's not someone's errand to be sent here and there. And that for him, he can only go to events where values will always be achieved. Then we saw Rigathi Gachagua going to Italy. That was in July this year. And he attended some UN food summit. William Ruto was supposed to attend that event. It was a 3-day event. And of course, while in Italy, Rigathi Gachagua even engaged Kenyans in the diaspora. So that was the second event. And in fact, that was one, what you can say, as high-profile event, the event in Italy. But why was Rigathi Gachagua sent to Italy at that time? Of course, clearly, he was also sent to allow Raila and Ruto to meet with Obasanjo, and also to allow Raila and Ruto to create the bipartisan team, which is currently meeting at Bomas. Basically, that's why Rigathi Gachagua was sent to Italy. If that was not the objective, rest assured that Ruto would have sent Musalia Mudavadi. So in this video, I want us to look or to do a critical analysis about Ruto's move to send Musalia Mudavadi to Zimbabwe and not Rigathi Gachagua. But before you do that, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. And without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to dive in straight to the point. Why do you think Ruto is frustrating Rigathi Gachagua's international travels? Why? Is it because Rigathi Gachagua is uncouth? Most people believe he's uncouth. He just speaks like when he was in Italy. There's a statement which he made there which shocked Kenyans, that the country has actually solved the issue of food to all school pupils. But let us not get there. Why do you think Ruto opted for Mudavadi and not Rigathi Gachagua? For me, number one, Ruto is keen on denying Rigathi Gachagua the opportunity to create international networks. The truth of the matter is that it's not possible for anybody to easily win the presidency without international support. William Ruto, who is the president of the Republic of Kenya as we speak, did not have serious international networks. In fact, the international network William Ruto had were questionable, but he had the backing and the support of the American government and the British government, who are not comfortable with Raila Amolo Odinga. Because remember, Raila Odinga is considered socialist. And with the emergence of the BRICS, there was no way they were going to allow Raila Odinga to become the president. So Ruto became an easy project for them. For Rigathi Gachagua to become the president in 2032, he needs that international networks. That is what Ruto is denying him. And in that case, it means Ruto is creating a conducive environment for Musalia Mudavadi to create those international networks. I don't know what you think on that, but for me, I strongly believe that's probably the first objective. The second objective why Ruto decided not to send Rigathi Gachagua, in my view, is that he's sending a signal to their support base over the 2032 presidential elections. The truth is, Ruto is going to serve his first term. Then we are going to go again for another election in 2027. If he wins, he will serve his second term. So William Ruto, as we speak, is plotting for 2032 presidential election. Who is going to succeed him? That is what he's thinking about. And for him to get answers to that, he needs to start sending the right signals. And the signal he's sending is to the Luhya nation. That from what I'm doing, you can easily see that I am with Musalia Mudavadi. So you just need to follow Musalia Mudavadi. That's the signal. And again, that signal is also being sent to the mountain, so that the mountain will start questioning whether William Ruto is actually with Rigathi Gachagua or not. And anybody with a brain would easily conclude that William Ruto's heart is actually not with Rigathi Gachagua. Just like in the last election, if you ask me, Uhuru Kenyatta, if he had option, he would not have supported Raila Odinga. He just didn't have option. So that's exactly what I'm seeing with Ruto and Rigathi. I don't know what to think about that, but for me, it's also very important. Number three, I think, and I'm 100% sure on this, that Ruto has trust issues with Rigathi Gachagua, especially as far as some high-profile assignments are concerned. I don't know why he has trust issues, because that's his deputy. And we've seen that even locally here, when Ruto is going for some high-profile events, you don't see Rigathi Gachagua. So for me, I can say, just like someone was telling me, that Rigathi actually bulldozed Ruto to make him his running mate. So there's still those trust issues, especially on high-profile assignments. Why do you think Ruto would send Mudavadi and not his deputy in most of the events? Why? Why? If you know, you can give me the answer. But for me, my conclusion is just as simple as that. There's serious trust issues between Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua. And number four, why he's not sending Rigathi, I think Ruto also understands that for one to succeed in politics, he needs the international networks. And from those international networks, he will have the right connections. And from those right connections, they will have the ability to raise funds, resource mobilization. Ruto is denying Rigathi Gachagua the opportunity to raise funds for campaigns. Just like Ruto was denied that chance. Of course, Ruto had his, those gold networks of people like Aaron Erdin, the guy, the Sudanese guy who is giving problem there, you've always heard about him, and several others. But the truth is, for one to run a presidential campaign, serious one, you need the money, and that money can always be mobilized locally, and again, it can also be mobilized internationally. Locally, it's normally mobilized through tenders. So that's why it would be important for us to start figuring out these mega tenders. At what level is Rigathi Gachagua involved? Is he being frustrated or not? Because internationally, I don't think he will be able to create or to mobilize good resources without the support of the president, allowing him to go to Italy. He meets new people there, going to British or UK, meeting Kenyans there, those in business, exchanging contact, going to the US, like that. When that time comes, he will be able to easily raise campaign money. And lastly, if you ask me, I tend to think that Ruto is simply, lastly, I also tend to think that Ruto is simply undermining Rigathi Gachagua's presidential ambitions. Just like his was also undermined. That is what I'm thinking. Just don't allow him to go to those events. Confine him here. And even locally in the country here, Rigathi Gachagua is not even confined to Kenya. His roles are confined to mountain. You will hardly see Rigathi Gachagua organizing event, let's say in Kakamega, or let's say in Mombasa. He must be with Ruto. If he's not with Ruto, then those events are not there. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.